3. The armies. Upon the renewal of hostilities, we had invaded Tuscany, but it was not sufficient for our armies to defend themselves against enemies that were not more numerous and against the factions that divided our allies. It was necessary also at the same time to struggle against the agents of our own ministry. Previous to his commanding in Italy, the minister of war, Scherer, misled by an unseasonable rigor or carried away by the dilapidators of our finances, had let loose upon Italy agents, commissaries, inspectors who, desiring to appropriate all the administrative powers to themselves, thwarted the generals and carried disorder into our military administrations. Championnet, fatigued with all their stratagems and convinced that those commissaries put the army in danger, and irritated with reason at seeing them in his general quarters giving orders opposed to his own, caused several of the ministerial agents to be arrested. He exceeded his powers without doubt, but the safety of the army justified his conduct. Deprived of his employment and arrested by order of the Directory, the Council of War declared him innocent, and the only effect of that unreasonable severity was the disorganization of our army and discontenting it at the moment of combat. The Council of Vienna had dictated such measures. It could not have chosen a better time to afflict us. MacDonald replaced Championnet. Massena took the command of all the armies of Italy. Scherer, equally as unlucky as a general as he had been as an unlucky minister, was replaced too late by Joubert and Moreau. This last, after having retired in good order by the river Genoa, waited for MacDonald to join him in Tuscany and to endeavor by that junction to recall fortune beneath our standards. The Cisalpine evacuated, the rest of Italy compromised, Germany in the hands of Austria. Such had been, in a few weeks, the combined results of the directorial inability and misfortune, terrible ordeal of government as well as individuals. For the interior. What an effect must a change so prompt and unexpected have produced in the interior? In the first 3 months, the measures to complete the 200,000 conscripts and to have them equipped by the municipalities were decreed by emergency. We voted in the month of Pluvios for taxes to make up the deficit not proved of 55 millions, and after those taxes were accorded, they had the courage to affirm to us that the deficit was 67 millions. Thus, the last taxes, instead of making up the deficit, had increased it. We, however, resigned ourselves and granted unanimously fresh funds. The tax on gates and windows was doubled. All gave way to the discussions on the finances. We desired only to have explained us the cause of this eternal deficit, and I spoke to that effect as follows upon the sitting of the 24th of Floreal. I claim also the priority for the finances, but we must declare that there still exists a deficit, not because the legislative body has neglected to raise receipts to the level of the expenses, but because the vices of the administration have increased the expenses beyond the receipts. If the new deficit really exists, it has no right to exist. That distinction should be loudly published, but however, whatever may be the cause of the disorder, it must be repaired. Cast your eyes upon our threatened frontiers, upon the Cisalpine overflowed with blood, and you will feel the necessity to make that lava vomited by the British volcano retrograde. Union is more necessary for us than ever, of men, of money, and above all, public spirit, to raise that public spirit which can alone assure to us the rest that disfigures its license, but that which does not permit crime to envelop itself in darkness, but courageously brand it with the zeal of publicity. Bitter recollections may without doubt bring forth imprudent reproaches, but the wisdom and the concord of the powers will save the republic, and particular resentments will give way before the general interest. They would feel only that neither with us or with our allies they must not extinguish generous sentiments, nor proclaim patriotic indifference as a supreme virtue when we have given our armies the victorious attitude which they ought to have. Then we shall know how, with a firm hand, to establish the equilibrium of the powers. In the meantime, do not fear to give new strength to the government. Fear only to retard for a moment a remedy for the ills of the state.